And we're live. Welcome to VersiFlex Unboxed, live from the panel. One of the amazing opportunities we have with Sawgrass is have such a loyal customer base that really truly helps us test and learn and expand our innovation. So today we have with us a few of our testers that helped make VersiFlex a reality. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around really quick, introduce ourselves, and then if you had one word that you could describe VersiFlex, what would it be?
Hi, my name is Judith. I'm from Lunali. VersaFlex. The one word that comes to my mind is versatility. Versatility.
Hi, I'm Ivy from Ivy Pink Mead, and my one word that I would describe VersaFlex would be adaptable, because it's just it can go on so many different things.
Hi, my name is Jared from Heat Press Nation. If I had to pick one word for VersaFlex, I would say expander. Not just because of the cartridge, but it really just like expands like your business and allows you to do so much more than what you could traditionally do with other print systems.
Hi, I'm Alex, and my word would be game changer, because I think it gets you outside the plastic box. Now we can do natural materials like cotton, which is revolutionary.
Hi, I'm Joel Scannell from New Jersey, Endor's Custom Labs, and my word would be freedom. I'm able to go ahead and go to any shop and actually pick up things. So I usually tend to go to Home Depot. That's where I go and get my stuff.
Awesome.
I'm loving this.
And we have three virtual guests with us. Simon, do you want to start us off?
Hi, this is Simon from Best of Europe. And also, if I could describe VersiFlex in just one simple word, it would also be a game changer. I think it is something completely new that's going to change the industry as we know it.
All right, Katya.
Hi, I'm Katja from Studio Cadeau from Belgium. In just one word, it's very difficult, but I have two words, and the VersiFlex is just more Sublifun. That's all.
All right, Miriam.
Hello, I'm Miriam from the Netherlands, and one word, amazing. That's
a great word.
It's amazing what I can do with it. Yes.
I love that. All right, so I'm going to put a question out there. I'm going to start with Judith. How would you describe VersiFlex to someone who has never heard of it?
It's simplified. Actually, it's really easy to print. Just print, press, and you're good to go. You can press in anything, and that's the great thing about VersiFlex.
All right. Anyone else want to jump in?
So as I was saying before, the freedom word, I love the fact that I can marry two different substrates together. So I'm loving the fact that I can put fence post backing and then also marry it with aluminum. So it's such a beautiful look, a 3D look.
Anyone else want to take a stab at defining VersiFlex?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, so if I was going to describe it to somebody who's never heard of it
Yeah,
before,
someone who's never heard of it before.
I would say it's like the printing solution. Like if you're looking to customize stuff, like this is the solution for you. A lot of times we get calls at Heat Press Nation customers like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And, previously we have to either solve something really expensive or three different less expensive things. And now it's cool. It's not just a solution. It's like, hey, now you can get VersiFlex. So for someone who's looking for a lot of different stuff, this is a solution.
Excellent. Love that answer. So this is going to be, I'm kind of going to go around. I'm going to start, Miriam, with you. What was your very first project with VersiFlex and how did it go?
My very first project was a white cotton t-shirt, and it went all wrong. Oh, I didn't had the pressure at too much pressure, I think. So I couldn't get the paper off. And
what was the first project that you had?
My first experience.
Yeah. What was your first project that you had go really right?
Uncoated wood. just a wooden plaque. I loved it. I love the wood. Yes.
All right, Katya, what about you? What was your first project that you did, and then your first project where that first peel just really gave you that yay moment?
My first project, honestly, was just a regular sublimation project. I made the Chromolux panel that Rhonda sent. I just wanted to stay into the comfort zone and just do my first regular sublimation project. But I was very curious about the black because there isn't a real black cartridge. So the black is made by the 3 other colors. So I printed this with a black text, and it's really black. It amazed me very much. But then, like Miriam, I tried a cotton shirt, and it went completely wrong because my shirt was very stretchy. It had very much lycra or elastan in it. And I peeled my paper. Later, I discovered why it went wrong. I peeled my paper from the left to the right. So where the shirt had the most stretchy thing in it. But when later I did it again, and I peeled from top to bottom, and it went much better. So it's a learning process. First time you make mistakes, you fail, but it's very fun to do. So later my projects went very well, but I always keep my mistakes also as a learning process.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I mean, all of this is a learning process. That's why we're here. If anyone got a perfect peel on the first time, I would be kind of shocked. So I'm glad that we're exposing that, because I think that's what people want to hear. They want to hear, what's going to go wrong. How do we get to the right place? Because I'll tell you, that first peel, when you get it right, it's the best feeling in the world. So Simon, question to you: what was your first project?
Well, initially, I started a test with sublimation, and I had some problems at first, but mainly because I was using too high temperature and maybe a little bit too much of time. And after that was corrected, then the prints were just absolutely great. And actually, I had no problems with VersiFlex. Probably the first thing I tested was cotton t-shirts, and this came perfect right off the first print. So no problems with peeling, and the transfer was just fine. So that went absolutely great. The other thing we tested at first was the uncoated wood, and I must say that at first I had some issues with it. I have noticed that the best way to do hard items with VersiFlex would be a swing away type of a press, because you need to adjust like a larger amount of the pressure in order for the print to be done the right way and for it to peel up correctly and without leaving any marks from the paper. So initially I had to do 2 or 3 tests before getting it just right. And since then it has been just perfect. So I guess it was very easy to work with the VersiFlex. It was absolutely easy, no problems.
I love to hear that. Joel, I'll go to you.
So my first project was a cotton t-shirt as well. And I did also have a problem, but it wasn't because I did anything wrong. It's because I didn't know that it was a hot peel versus a cold peel. So in my previous projects that I used to do, I'm so used to having a cold peel. So I'm like, oh, I'll leave it alone. And then I didn't know that I needed to rip it off hot. Mm-hmm. However, I was able to go ahead and actually repress my piece. And I always do what's called a little Joel corner fold, so that when I fold it, I can always easy to peel and just come right off. So thankfully, I left that fold there. And when I went to peel it, I always learned to peel away. And I held it, and it just peeled right off. And I'm like, oh, it worked. Fantastic. Great. I did have some paper stuff. And the little trick that I do, and I'll talk about that later if you want to, but I'll talk about it later. I'll leave you.
So my first project was a cotton t-shirt as well. And I don't remember how long it took exactly to get it dialed in. It definitely takes a little more pressure, a little less heat than you think if you're coming from sublimation. But once I got it dialed in, and heat presses are different too, so that's important to know. Your heat press might be different from mine. It was like every single one just came out perfect. And that is, you're right. It's such a good feeling once you get everything dialed in and you just crank them out.
Yep.
Yeah, cotton t-shirt gang over here. So, and I think that's what we all want. Everybody, we all want that cotton shirt. So I tried a cotton shirt, intentionally used the wrong settings. So I was part of the, like you guys, testing, and then it was either Rhonda or Dimple said, "Hey, go crazy with it. Like, we need to know, we're still testing it, right? We need to know everything." So I was like, all right. So I saw the instructions and I was like, nah. So I pressed it. I went light. I did everything wrong. Lighter on the pressure, worse on the time, let it cold peel, and it was horrible. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time to follow instructions. So after that, and again, and I'm coming from it from the angle of like representing my customers who may not do it right themselves. So I tried a ton of different, getting as close. Anyways, it took me a while before I got a good one, kind of by intention. Then with got to the high pressure and the high peel. Still wasn't quite there, but this is pretty early in testing. Had some other projects. Finally, my tech support manager says, "Hey, give it to me. I want to try." He comes back with a t-shirt that was immaculate. And I was like, "How did you do this? Like, I've been at this for like 2 weeks. How did you do this?" And he's like, "Oh, I just did low XYZ." And I was like, okay, hold on. So then I went back to it, and then I got my first just immaculate peel, and that did feel pretty darn good. Yeah.
So Judith and I were lucky to do our first project right here at Sawgrass. So we got all of the cakes out, and Alex came in like a superhero, and it was like, this is how you do it. And it came out perfect. So then I think when we got home, we were basically pros. I'm just, so we got all the tips here and all the peaks out. So
yeah, so I was able to even like try to use it with my AutoPress. So that's one of the things that I know there's a lot of users that will use that AutoPress, and so I tried to figure out a way to do it, and I was able to. And I was so happy when I did my tote bag, and it just came out perfectly.
I love that. And that's really, I mean, we've used our community. We listen to you. That's how we make our products. And so, I mean, again, all the testing you guys did, everything you went through is why we're here today. So how has VersiFlex, I'm going to go straight back to you. How has VersiFlex changed the way you approach custom decorating?
It just makes it a lot much simpler. It's just simplified because I can just see something. I have a vision. I just get a vision. You know, whenever you see something, you see with something else or decorate it, and so you just go for it. And now we're able to just go for it because we are able to print on just about anything that resists the heat.
One of the projects that I just did recently was I had an old frame. So I was able to turn something that I wasn't even really using anymore into something completely new. And it looks totally new using cotton, which is something that you can go to, any store, department, or, like Walmart or Target or whatever, and you can pick up something really quickly and then just make magic out of it.
Oh, I love that. Make magic.
Yeah.
All right. Jared?
You said the question is how has
it changed the way you approach custom decorating?
Yeah, for me, and kind of putting on like my entrepreneur hat, like not so much the content creator hat. Because as a content creator, like it's just so many new things. You can go to like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and just get a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But as a business person, I do have my own like side business where I create and sell Sawgrass. I really am into kits right now. So now it's like, oh, cool, with the same printer, I can do the hat, the t-shirt, the mug, the tumbler. Like, so I'm thinking in kits now, being able to present a full kit to a customer where they can get one of each product, and they don't have to order 20 shirts, 20 hats, 20 mugs. They can order like just one kit, two kit. Like, so I'm thinking in kits now. I'm thinking in packages, and that's how it's changing for me.
Yeah. So like Jared, I have a day job. And this is it's a side hustle, so I'm not like huge on social media like our guests here. They're, super awesome. But even while I was just in the testing phase, I had 2 projects that came up, not commercial, personal projects where this saved the day. So
Yeah.
the first one was kind of a long story, but my wife was doing a thing where she had to decorate these like 30 or 50 pencil pouches. And the person who had ordered the pencil pouches had said, okay, they're going to be polyester. So we were planning to sublimate them. Turns out, no, they were canvas. So I was like, well, actually, I have just now a technology that I can do this with. And it was perfect. We cranked them out. It was wonderful. A few days later, my son, who's in the theater program, he was 13 at the time, not great at planning ahead, right? So, hey, for the show tomorrow, I need a T-shirt with this stuff written on it. Okay. Orange T-shirt. I didn't have an orange T-shirt. Guess what? We go to the neighborhood art supply store, $2, orange T-shirt, VersiFlex, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been a big problem to do if we were just limited to polyester.
Right.
So I think the answer to your first question, how has it changed? The answer to how it's changed is it's opened up way more products. So now you're not
Absolutely.
limited to just polyester, which has been such a limiting factor for so long.
Mhm.
So to echo on Jared's comment, the way it's changed for me is the fact that I'm able to go ahead and repurpose things that I have, that I can, and as well as I think repurpose things that I've actually had. So funny story is my neighbor actually put her foot through my wicker table, and I said, "Oh no! Now what do I do?" I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Come here. All right, cool. We're going to Home Depot and we're getting fence posts and we're going to put that on there. But you know what? I'm going to sublimate it. I'm going to VersiFlex it. I'm going to put a nice logo out there, and I'm also going to put some epoxy over it to actually make it pop. So it's very different. It's really cool." And I'm like, my wife was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." I'm like, "Wow, where'd you learn to do this?" I'm like,
All right, Simon, same question to you. How has VersiFlex changed the way you approach custom decorating?
Well, for me, coming from sublimation background, we have always been limited to coated blanks or polyester textiles or whatever. And even that, we offer to our clients probably over 10,000 different blanks, which means we are super creative with just bringing up new items every week, almost every day. But still, there is a limit, right? With VersiFlex, there's no more limits. I mean, you could literally go to any Walmart or any clothing store, whatever. You can pick up anything from the shelf and you can print on it. I mean, there's absolutely no limits. I mean, maybe very small limits, but with VersiFlex, you are virtually open to print on anything. And I don't think there's any other solution like that on the market right now, which can allow you to get all the best from both of the worlds, which means from the sublimation world and from just anything that you can physically find, with just very small limits. And in my honest opinion, there's no other solution in the market right this moment that can do those two things and do them well. So I have to honestly say I am very impressed. Virtually no limits with this new system. So absolutely happy.
All right, Katya, same question.
Yeah, I agree with Simon's no limit explanation. I'm a kind of person, when I go shopping, I see ideas everywhere. I can use this, I can use that. What can I decorate on that kind of fabric? But previously you were always kind of limited by the polyester coating or the sublimation coating. So now the limit is gone and you can go in any shop and see cotton shirts, cotton tea towels, cotton fabrics even. I bought last week some silly wooden puzzles. Very low budget, but it's so cute to put your design on it and see that it works. So yes, my mind is in overdrive right now. I see ideas everywhere and no shop is safe for me. So
All right, Miriam, how about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me the same. But for me, the most exciting thing is the untreated wood. That I have a laser machine, and I love it. I love it. Just I can make my own shapes to decorate on. So that's amazing. Just amazing. That's what the word is. Yes, the
I love the
untreated.
creativity of blending the technologies as well. I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that you can work with more than one thing. You don't have to just be limited. I mean, the flexibility is there in so many ways.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of you guys kind of talk about last minute projects. I think I love that, because I think what some of our users might be questioning is maybe the speed. So we know that we can get products fast, but I know you were telling me a story of a last minute thing that you did. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So my kids they know that we can just make a bunch of stuff at home, right? But of course they tell me like 20 minutes before the bus is coming, Mommy, it's Dr. Seuss Day today. I need a Dr. Seuss. I'm supposed to dress colorful. And I'm like, what? So, I upload a photo, I print it on my VersiFlex, and then I press it. Literally, we had, I don't know, maybe still like 5 minutes to spare before the bus was coming. So, I mean, from the design concept, if you already have a design on hand, to upload, print, and press, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I love that. Does anyone else have any last minute projects that VersiFlex saved the day?
No, I don't. I don't have last minute. No time for last minute.
I do. This morning, I actually was having breakfast and I had ketchup on my shirt, and I put ketchup on. That's why I was wearing it. That's why everybody saw me with the T-shirt. And so I needed to actually have a shirt. Thankfully, last night we got it. I had just picked up this shirt, and I actually just VersiFlex this today, like about an hour ago. I needed something. So,
That's amazing. So we've talked about the fun things that can happen. I want to talk a little bit about some of the technical aspects of VersiFlex as a system. So I'm going to direct this question to Jared, starting off with you. What makes VersiFlex different from other technologies you've used?
For me, one of the and again, kind of coming from like the sales aspect of things, is what you can do at the price point.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest thing, because there's some people are familiar with white toner. It's probably the closest. I don't even know if it's a cousin, but it's probably the closest thing. But it's well over double the price. In some cases, like it's actually more like triple the price when you compare like the printer size. Like for example, SG 500s coming in around 900 for the VersiFlex. Printing that same size in another system is gonna run you like $3,000. Once you go into white toner, once you go into directive film, which is again not the same thing.
Right.
Once you get there, you're already at like $2,000, and that you're no uncoated hard surfaces, no sublimation, anything. So it's like they can't even do what VersiFlex does. But even if you were to compare them, they're still coming in at so much of a higher price point.
Right.
So for me, the biggest thing is what you're able to do in this size, in this price. There's no competition. So it really just stands alone. So that's one thing that just immediately was very impressive to me.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. You want to take a shot?
Yeah. To echo on what you said, I'm actually a consumer of the 100 printer, and I actually bought it. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to do all these things. And I was very limited. And with the VersiFlex came in, and I was like, oh my God, wow, I can actually do this. And it was so versatile. And it was, again, the big word I keep using is freedom. Freedom. I was able to go ahead and use it on different substrates, and I can just simply just go to any department store and just like, oh, hey, you know what? I like that. I'll marry this with this, and I'll just pick this up as well. Oh, got a birthday. Pick this up as well. So I love the fact that it was just the freedom versus what I had to do with the white toner printer, and it cost me an arm and a leg.
Right. What about you guys? Is there anybody that specializes in other technologies? How would you compare VersiFlex to some of the things that you've used in the past?
Maybe I can say something. I think right this moment, VersiFlex doesn't really have any real competition. It is a completely new solution, and it is something a little bit different than DTF, a little bit different than DTG. It's also a little bit different than the white toner. Um, so I honestly think that it brings a l- it brings a lot of good things from all those technologies, even though it is not exactly the same. And also at the price point, I think you cannot get anything like this on the market. I mean, if you're looking, at least here in Europe, if you're looking to buy, if you're looking to get into a DTF business, you need to spend at least 2,000-3,000 euros to start with a very basic machine. If you want to go a little bit above, that's probably at least 6 to 10. The white toner printers are also pretty expensive. And with this, for 600-700 euros in that price range, you're getting the, the normal sublimation printer with the VersiFlex, and you can also use it on vinyl. So honestly, I think that people should be very satisfied with the possibilities that the system is giving them. Now, like I said, it's not maybe exactly DTF like, but it doesn't really have to be. That's not the idea, right? And the DTF machine cannot do the sublimation. So it is absolutely wonderful. And I think it's going to be a new hit on the market, and people are going to love it.
I love that. Katya or Miriam, would you like to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think you have both possibilities. You have the regular sublimation projects, but you have also the advantage of what did offer the chromoblast, so the printing on cotton. I am a teacher and I give classes, and many of my students are in a kind of a dilemma. What kind of printer should I buy? Should I buy a regular sublimation printer or should I buy a chromoblast? And in the chromoblast, I don't have it myself, so I am not experienced in it, but you often need that print to cut thing around your image. So that's completely gone now. With the VersiFlex, you have both. So you have the choice in doing just your common sublimation projects, but you can also, I have my famous Subli socks here on cotton.
Oh, yes.
Cotton socks, they were on the Sawgrass page.
I know,
week.
I saw them. They were beautiful.
So it's a very easy peasy project. You just print on a small edge of your paper a little image. You don't have to do print and cut anymore. You just press 30 seconds and okay. So I think it will conquer his place in in the next coming weeks or months, and I think it will put the chromoblast a bit at the back of the line. So, but to me, it's really a game changer. Yes.
I love that. I'm going to keep on the technical thing. Alex, I'm going to go to you. There, obviously, with VersiFlex, we have our expander cart, which means that we no longer have the black cart. Katya, I know you've spoken to this already about the black printing. So I know that that's something that we've heard from our users is how does the black print? So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the expander cart and how the black comes out in addition to that?
Sure. Yeah. As Ivy mentioned, I was lucky enough to be able to come in here and be part of the early process with the testing. Yeah. So first of all, my understanding is that it is magic. So,
that's the technical term.
Yeah. Sawgrass has amazing, just geniuses working for them. And the people who do the chemistry here that develop this product, there's no way I'm capable of understanding how this works. My limited understanding is that regular ink is mixed. It mixes the other three colors, cyan, magenta, and yellow, to make black. And then what is in the black cartridge normally just makes that black deeper and richer. So what they did, as I understand it, is adjusted the balance in the chemistry so that now the other three inks don't need anything extra to be added to them to make a deep, rich black. And therefore that opened up the other cartridge to put the magic potion in,
Right.
right? That now makes it so that it's like screen printing with a heat press.
Right.
So, that is in my primitive and crude understanding of the very advanced technology that is at play here.
I think it's a great explanation. Anyone else want to? I mean, I know you already spoke to the black, but does anyone else want to talk about their experience with printing blacks?
The black is
So-
really beautiful.
Oh, look, she has an example.
Yeah,
I
you
love
see.
that.
Wait, I have to switch my camera. It's on a white cotton shirt, and it's amazing black. It's really beautiful black. Yeah, I was
I love
surprised.
that.
Yeah.
I love that you brought samples. It's so good to see it in person. All right, Jared.
Yeah. So when we were first testing, we had this really great poster style graphic that it was multicolored, looked awesome. And then when we were testing it, we're like, wait a second, but there was no black on it. So we actually just in Photoshop, we made the whole thing black and printed it as one solid black graphic on the T-shirt. And I was incredibly impressed by how black the black was. Again, just experience with different print systems. Usually you gotta fine tune the process black.
Right.
First try, it just came out phenomenal and just very impressive with how black the black was on that T-shirt. It had looked like you had screen printed like a super thick black ink onto it. And knowing that I didn't do that, knowing that it was VersiFlex, was like, oh, this is really, really cool.
Right.
I'll mention one more thing too about that is it's durable. I know DTG, you wash it a couple times, it starts flaking off. The shirt I mentioned that I made for my son, he's worn it. It's not treated it well. It's been through the wash a bunch of times. It's still dark, rich black on there. So this isn't like, okay, it looks great and then it washes off. No, it sticks around.
Look at that. Yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
It's all black.
And it will be after you wash it 10
Yeah.
times. That's the cool part.
I love that you mentioned the wash fastness because I know we've all tested with cotton. And we've gotten questions about how long will it last. Has anybody, I know you just mentioned, has anybody washed a lot of their products and, still lived to tell the tale?
Well, I have tested the sublimation on the ceramic mugs, and that was absolutely dishwasher safe. And I really gave them quite a long test with very aggressive chemicals, and it was really dishwasher safe. I haven't tested the VersiFlex on cotton, but I really gave the T-shirt a lot of beating, a lot of stretching, and it was really difficult to damage the print. So it is absolutely not like a vinyl or something where it is really, well, maybe not really easy to damage, but if you push it a little bit too far, the film may break. And of course, we all know that when you wash any form of a vinyl on a T-shirt, even with the DTF prints, from what I understand, the best blanks out there can maybe withstand 30 to 50 washes. In my opinion, VersiFlex is going to last much, much longer because there's no vinyl which holds the water in the washer, right? Because obviously, when you're washing the T-shirts, the water is making all the damage, right? When the clothes are just moving around in the washer, and I don't think that's going to be the case with the VersiFlex. I think it's going to last much, much longer than any form of the white toner transfers or DTFs. I think it may give you even it may even last longer than DTF. Of course, we know that the DTF, I'm sorry, not the DTF, the DTG, we know that the DTG prints, they are a little bit better with washing, but the paint may peel off or fade away, and I don't think that's the case with VersiFlex. So I think it is really good and much better on that side, much better than the DTGs.
Yeah.
I have the best example.
Yeah.
My tester is my toddler, and it's her play clothes. And we made it here. It was a unicorn, so it has all the colors. It was a unicorn, and it has her name. So, and she loves her shirt, so she's asked to wear it a bunch of times. And when a toddler wears something, it's like dirty, within an hour or two. So we've washed it a ton, and I'm happy to report all the colors of the rainbow is still bright. So yeah.
I love that. So one question we get a lot on social is the comparison between VersiFlex being a new technology and how that makes it compatible with sublimation. And so we know that the unique formula allows it to be sublimation compatible so that you can still get that range. So my question to the panel is, as you've started making things using the VersiFlex inks and your TruePick sublimation paper, how are you getting the quality between our SubloJet UHD versus VersiFlex?
So one thing that we found because we've tested lots of different sublimation printers, is that from every printer to printer to printer, and not Sawgrass to Sawgrass. I'm talking about like Sawgrass to the other names.
Right.
But printer to printer to printer, system to ink system, they're all different. Every last printer is going to have a slightly different look to it when you actually put it on. So we've done testing, and so they're all going to look a little bit different. What we found was that the consumer's they're never going to notice unless you're holding two, let's say, coffee mugs that held up side by side that were printed on. Unless you're going to hold it side by side, you're never going to tell. Right. And that we found the same thing with VersiFlex in our testing. It looked great coming out. It looks great. All the colors come out bold, vibrant. You have the great contrast, everything that Sawgrass is known for with sublimation. And of course, full transparency. It is a little bit different than SubloJet, but that difference is only noticeable if you're going to do the side by side,
right?
Which no one's going to do.
Yeah.
So is it totally safe? And yes, should everybody be using it? Go for it. Like it's going to be great retail quality, just like any other Sawgrass product, which was really surprising and really encouraging for us, because I was a big concern. It's like, okay, it does cotton so good. Is it really going to do the sublimation so good? And it did. And that was really awesome to find.
I just want to tag on to that. So when you are talking about, okay, color, what is the standard, right? I mean, the printing standard for decades has been Pantone colors. And I can tell you, if you work with professional printers and you have one company print something with Pantone color XYZ and another printer use the same, it's going to be different, right? There's no such thing as identical color from any vendor, from any technology. So the point is, does it look good? Right?
Yes.
And that is the point. It looks really, really good. It doesn't have to be identical to anything else. If it's, I mean, some indistinguishable shade, it's hard even to describe. Well, the green is a little more whatever, right? But it looks great. So, it's well within professional parameters, in my opinion.
Great. Anyone else want to talk their experience with VersiFlex on sublimation products?
Yes,
I totally agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You can see which one is the Sublimation or which one is the VersiFlex. They are just the same. The products are the same. Nobody can. There's no difference. I did one with the Sublimation and one with the VersiFlex inks, and there is no difference in color.
Thank you for providing the samples. It's great to see it side by side. I mean,
Yeah. I love these.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Simon, I think you had something to add on to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I totally agree that unless you put, for example, one mug next to another, doesn't matter if it's coming up from UHD or VersiFlex or any other printer, the consumer will not see the difference unless you tell them where the difference is. Because of course the quality is there, the colors are there, and yeah, if it is a little bit more green or a little bit more yellow, it's still a high quality product. It's just maybe a tiny bit different, but only if you can compare it to something. But like was just said, it's a quality product, right? You're not able to unless they're one next to another to distinguish which one is which. So yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna ask one more fun question before we take it to live Q&A for all of you that have joined us. Thank you so much for being here. My last question for the panel is, what's the most unexpected thing that you've created with VersiFlex?
So I'll go first. I was so excited to just do ceramic. That was one of the things that you can do ceramic, the little coasters, and just being able to decorate anything at home. Placemats. It just because last time I actually posted a video about doing sublimation on a placemat, and I was like looking for sublimation blank for this placemat, and now like I see all placements, I'm like, I can do that pink, I can do this one, and so that it is fun. But ceramic is just being one of the things that I've been wanting to do, and it doesn't have to be coated, so it's exciting.
Yeah, love that.
One of the really fun projects that we did, and I was deceived again when I saw the sample today. It was a new one. We had printed on uncoated wood, but it was like a brown color, and I thought that it was like a laser. Remember? And then I touched it, and it was still VersiFlex. It wasn't laser, but it looked totally like laser. So I think that it's amazing, like how it could look like that, but it's so much easier.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm going to cheat a little bit with my answer, because my answer is a cotton shirt, right? Because that's not a weird product, but it is unexpected if you're used to sublimation.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think right now there's, a general awareness of, what are we putting in our bodies? What are we putting on our bodies? People are kind of wanting to get away from the synthetic fabrics and then the plastic type products. And now, as everybody's mentioned, you can do that. You can have your organic cotton, you can have your untreated wood, you can have these natural products, and you're not reliant on a coating of polymers, in theory, it's all perfectly safe, right? But if you're trying to minimize how much plastic you have in your life, like, here's a great way to do it and still make it your own, make those gifts for people, right? I think one of the things that philosophically, even like, that I love about this type of technology is it allows you to create things in the physical world, right? So much of our lives right now are in these screens. It's digital, right? Our photos are digital, this and that. So this is something you can make and hand it to somebody and say, hey, I care about you. Here's something that I made for you. And now you can do that with materials that are natural, and it still looks beautiful. That to me is amazing and unexpected.
What about you guys?
I stick to the untreated wood. That's
That's so unexpected.
I love it. I did this with my laser. And it's a combination that it's great. Just take some wood and make a personal item of it, and simple. Yeah.
All right. So I think at this point.
One more, Lindsay.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, please.
The unexpected one was for me was a cotton hat. And I want to thank Judith because she actually helped me with that today. Let me just try this out. Let me just figure this out. I'm like, all right, cool. And I've never done a hat, and I love my hat. I love hats. It's just my thing. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is going to open up a whole new world for me. So yeah, that's my unexpected project.
I love that.
Hat. Yeah.
All right. So now for everyone that's joined, we're going to open up a live Q&A for you guys. We're going to bring on our expert, Rhonda. I'm sure you recognize her. She's the best person to answer some of your questions, but also feel free to ask our panel as well. So I'm going to take a step off, but thank you guys so much for joining us. And thank you, Rhonda.
Okay, so first of all, Ivy, I just have to tell you that Mr. Pink is in the chat, and he wanted to thank you for all the great things you're making and for taking up all of the shelf space in the house. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I do have a few questions for y'all. So first of all, one of the people in the chat is wondering about how large of a project you can do. So what's the largest you've done, and Does it make it harder to peel if it's a little bit larger or even to place?
Well, today my project was tabloid size, and it was a little tote bag, and it covered from like top to bottom, and it wasn't really that much harder to peel. You just have to hot peel fast.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of this that's going to get easier as you do it, right? So I know probably from first project to now, you all feel like experts, but I remember that very first day. Yeah, so especially with Ivy, Judith, and Alex, that first day when we took it out of the chemistry lab and into our labs or into our hands, it was an interesting day, but by the end of it, we felt we had it, right? Yeah. All right. So I do have someone who's saying when you look at Sublimation, when you look at Chromoblast, they have both. If they were to invest in getting a VersiFlex, what would they be adding? What could they get that they're not currently getting?
I'll talk about that one. Uncoated hard surfaces for one, but also I know Chromoblast is designed to where you're not supposed to read it, but you probably should be trimming it down. There's a little bit of a film on the background, and even though it's transparent, it's still kind of there. Not so apparent on white, but once you start going into your lighter colors, like your athletic heathers and stuff, then you start noticing the film, the imprint of the sheet of Chromoblast. So the big difference with VersiFlex is there's zero background, zero border, zero need to cut or trim. So even though with Chromoblast, yes, you did have the option for cotton, the product with VersiFlex is just so much better. So it's an improved product on cotton. And then uncoated surfaces, I mean, that's just a whole new world that if someone who already has Chromoblast and Sublimation, they're going to be adding that. So an improved cotton product and then uncoated hard surfaces, which is basically the entire Hobby Lobby, pretty much. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because, I mean, I think you've all probably heard of the hack where you can use a lamination sheet and put it on wood. And so you don't need the hack anymore. It's just automatic, and there's so many things we can do. I've already started joking, Jared, with you that we're going to see a lot of VersiFlex wood ornaments this Christmas.
Yes.
I think that's going to be the trending thing.
I'm at my shop. Oh.
Yeah, right?
All our shops, probably.
All right. So someone asked, do you need a specific kind of heat press for VersiFlex? Yeah.
We all have a different heat press.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that when we were here testing, we have this professional heat press. And so when I went home, I was like, well, there's like other part of us that have like auto press. And so I know we can't like do the pressure exactly how you do it with the
Not 100% accurate. So with sublimation, it's like the hotter the better almost, right? With this, above a certain temperature, the expander starts to evaporate and then you can't peel your paper. So if it isn't working, first thing I would say try is higher pressure and lower heat, because it might be your heat press kind of making it for you.
Yeah, definitely. And then someone asked, what are your tips with hard surfaces? So with those uncoated woods and those unglazed ceramics, what are some of your tips? Miriam, what are some things that you've learned or some things that have kind of stood out to you?
You have to make sure that your press is on temperature before you go to print. Because when you have a big press like mine, it takes too long. It takes too much time to heat up the press. So first the press and then the print. That was the first thing I learned, because Otherwise, you can't press it anymore when it's too long.
Yeah. Now, Joel, you've done a repress, right? How has that worked for you? Has that kind of helped with some of those issues?
Yeah. So for me, so repeating, is it about wood or is it just about repressing in general?
They ask about wood, but you can answer to either.
Okay. Well, for wood, what I've learned is that I definitely need to go ahead and when it says hot peel, I need to make sure I hot peel it. You do not want to leave it. You don't want to do cold peel, medium peel, or anything. You got to make sure you have your gloves on and really hot peel on an actual wood. For cotton, I did actually repress, and what I did was the tip that I did was, again, I got my little corner that I folded in the actual VersiFlex film, and when I lifted and I swung away, I actually peeled away, and I did leave some residue of the actual VersiFlex on there. So to actually fix that, what I did was actually put some heat tape over it, made a little fold at the end, put my parchment paper down, put it down, reheated it up, took it, swung it away, came right off. It was perfect. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So that was my tip.
Awesome. Now, Simon, someone asked a question that you've kind of already answered, so I'm going to throw this back to you. How many washes can you do with the cotton shirts with VersiFlex?
I haven't tested it, but based on what I see, I think it's going to be probably at least 30, 50 plus. Probably more than 50 on the VersiFlex, on the cotton, right?
On the
And on the sublimation products, I think that the dishwasher safe, it can be, it's probably it's going to last just as long as a normal UHD Sawgrass solution. There's no difference. It's going to be just as good as the UHD is.
All right. Now, I do see a question here that was specifically around, if we're going to do any demos today. So unfortunately, no, we're not going to do any demos today. But everyone here on the panel already has some demos that are live that you can check out. You also can check right here on our YouTube channel. We do have some quick tips to kind of show you some of those finer points. So any of us will be glad to show you lots of demos. Alex, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to add to the question of washing, kind of real world example again. When it does start wearing, it wears like a screen print. So it actually looks cool. It looks like, oh, now it's like a vintage kind of print versus, again, DTG, where it just kind of cracks and peels off. So the VersiFlex, when it washes, starts getting that subtle kind of craquelure, if that's the word, that actually looks really good. And it's an aesthetic thing versus like, oh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, this is kind of out there to Katya and then also to you, Judith. So, with the dark fabrics, you can do print and cut. So you are able to do that. Any sublimation heat transfer vinyl works for that, correct?
That is correct. So that is a thing, right? Like before we just use the Easy Subli, and so you still be able to use the Easy Subli, but since we were able to do, and I haven't tested, and that's one of the things that is on my top list to do, is just put it on any vinyl. Just try it on any kind of vinyl. I used to just do it like on glitter, Easy Subli, and I know sublimation will work perfectly with those, but before we weren't able to do with any other vinyl. So that's one of my top list to do. And I can say that it will work. So, but I just need to try it out.
Yeah. Now, Katya, you've been able to do some print and cut, haven't you, I believe? We may have lost her, but I do know that I've done some print and cut. Any sublimation heat transfer vinyl will work. All right, so I think that's all of the questions I'm seeing. I'll let anyone add a few more. But do any of you have any other tips and tricks you want to kind of throw out there before we go today?
I would say tip not so much for application, but give yourself some grace, especially if you're just learning. All of us, we kind of mentioned, I think except one, we all kind of messed up at first, and it's part of the learning process. As you're learning a brand new professional process, you can't expect to be perfect first try. We all had to learn how to drive. We all had to learn how to heat press other things and do other print methods. We all had to learn even Canva or Photoshop or whatever you're learning. You have to be a little bit bad at first. So give yourself some grace, be prepared, have some extra transfers and blanks on hand so we can get the feel of it, get used to it, watch everybody's tutorials on it. And then you'll be able to, get it faster. Yeah, give yourself some grace at first.
Let me add on to that too. So, and actually, I wish I had mentioned this earlier when you were talking about cost of ownership, is we're so used to a higher price blank, right? So I don't like polyester shirts. So I've been using tri-blend for a long time. Right? A tri-blend blank is like $6 to $9, right? Cotton is like $2 to $4, right? Yeah. So when you consider the cost of the system, there's a lot of savings on the back end when you're actually producing stuff, especially if you're producing it for a sale.
Yeah, no, great. That's a great point. That's actually a great point. One of the things that I just want to make sure people know is actually, so for me, I'm having different hats and using different machines. When I had to get the VersiFlex, I was actually afraid of learning a whole new software, and there was no new software to learn. I just used the same software that's always been taught to me. And I was like, okay, so great. Designing is easy. Okay, fantastic. Great. Print, great. We hit the print button. And Sawgrass made it really easy with the whole presets. It says, you know what, cotton, uncoated wood, uncoated metal. It was great. It was fantastic. The only difference was the print side, which I had to readjust my head saying, oh, okay, you know what? I need to lower my heat, adjust my pressure. That was it. I was like, okay, well, that wasn't that hard. It only took me about an evening to figure it out because I already had the software already set up in my head. But that was it for me.
Awesome. Simon, Katya, do y'all have anything to add? Miriam?
Is there anything known yet about the price in Europe? That's a question I get very frequently last days. So.
Yeah, so we actually are very excited. A lot of us are going to be at FESPA in Germany in just a couple of weeks now. And that's going to be kind of our big pitch there in Europe to get us started and to get you where you can get some pricing. But if you have any questions about pricing or anything else, please reach out to us at marketing@sawgrassinc.com and we'll be able to guide you as much as we can on that. And then if it's something where, like our pricing in Europe that still isn't out there, we will keep your email address and reach out as soon as we have that information and what dealers you'll be able to purchase that at.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you're excited. Everyone is so excited. And I'm seeing several people in the chat who have actually just got the system and are starting to try it. So we're really excited to hear that. If you do have any issues, and I do see someone who's having issues just with printing offline, Jared, we went through that earlier today. Yeah. So if you're having any issues, we have a wonderful support team here at Sawgrass. Just go to care.sawgrassinc.com, open a ticket with us. We'll be glad to assist you and get you up and going. All right. So I think that's all the questions I'm seeing. Judith, Ivy, did you have any final thoughts?
I would say I'm just so happy to be able to get creative and not think of be limited to just some things. So I'm just so happy for the VersiFlex and trying out so many things, and just happy to report that it's just all working out. So I am just so excited about it.
Yeah, definitely excited about being like, I love gifting. So I love that I can make more gifts because now I have more materials to use and I can just go anywhere and get it and make it super fast. And it looks like I put it somewhere because it's so professional.
Yeah, well, thank you all for joining us. Simon, Miriam, Katya, thank you for joining us from Europe. We know it's a little bit later in the day for you, so we're so glad you're here. And then everyone that's been able to be here this week, it has been an absolute joy to experience VersiFlex with you, play around, get some new tips and tricks too. So thank you all. And to everyone who's tuning in, again, check out sawgrassinc.com. You will see some great projects that we've done with VersiFlex. And then any additional questions you have, just reach out at marketing@sawgrassinc.com. And please check out everyone's pages and socials. They have lots of tips and tricks and great tutorials for you too. So thank you all for joining us today. Bye-bye.